We're literally surrounded by this incredible invisible force, right? Electricity. It powers our whole world. But how do we actually control it? I mean, how do we tell it where to go? And maybe even more importantly, where not to go? That's the big puzzle we're going to tackle today. All right, just a quick heads up. This is part 8 of our 20-part series on an introduction to electricity, all from Virtualization Options LLC. Right? I mean, think about it. To use all this power safely, to just light up a room or charge your phone, we have to channel it with some serious precision. So how in the world do we pull that off? Well, it all comes down to the materials we use. See, to build anything useful and safe with electricity, you really have to become a master of two totally different kinds of materials. We're talking about stuff that lets it flow freely and other stuff that just stops it dead in its tracks. The easiest way to think about it is like building a highway for electricity. You absolutely need that go path, right? The road itself. But what's just as crucial? The no-go paths, the guardrails, the barriers that keep all that energy contained and moving exactly where we want it to go. So that begs the question, why? Why do some materials basically scream go, while others are a hard no-go? Well, the secret isn't something you can see. To really get it, we've got to zoom way, way down, all the way to the atomic level. Okay, so down at this tiny level, it's all about what I like to call the electron dance. In a conductor, the outer electrons are they're loosely held. They're free spirits. They can easily jump from one atom to the next, and that flow is what we call an electrical current. But in an insulator, it's the complete opposite. Those outer electrons are held in a super tight grip. They're locked down, they can't move, and so no flow. And that one tiny, fundamental difference at the atomic level, that's what creates our two main teams, the conductors and the insulators. So let's line them up and see how they compare. So on one side, you've got conductors. They're the go path, right? Their electrons are free to roam, letting that electricity flow super easily. On the other side, you've got insulators, the no-go path. Their electrons are locked in tight, so they resist that flow. It seems like a simple difference, but believe me, it's the very principle that makes our entire electrical world possible. And once you know what to look for, you see these materials everywhere. For conductors, you're thinking of metals, of course, copper, aluminum, gold, and silver. But hey, look what else is on that list. The human body. Yup, that's a big reason why electrical safety is so important. And for insulators, we've got rubber, plastic, glass, even wood and ceramic. All the stuff we use to protect ourselves from the conductors. Okay, but here's where it gets really clever. We almost never use these things by themselves. In pretty much every electrical application you can think of, conductors and insulators are working together. They're this essential partnership, really two sides of the same coin. Just think about it for a second. A bare copper wire, a pure conductor. It's super useful, but it's also a major hazard, right? And then you've got a chunk of rubber, a pure insulator. It's perfectly safe, but on its own, what does it do with electricity? Nothing. It's just a chunk of rubber. The absolute perfect example of this team-up is just a regular insulated wire. The copper on the inside, that's your conductor, the highway carrying the current. And that plastic or rubber coating on the outside, that's the insulator, the guardrail that keeps all that power safely contained. It's such a simple, brilliant design, and it literally powers our entire modern world. But wait, the story doesn't stop there. Because there's this really fascinating third category, a type of material that's not quite a conductor, but not really a perfect insulator either. This in-between stuff completely, and I mean completely, changed the world. We're talking, of course, about semiconductors. So what the heck is a semiconductor? Well, it's a special kind of material, like silicon, that has this one incredible superpower. We can control it. We can basically tell it when to be a conductor and let the electricity flow, and when to be an insulator and block it. It's like a tiny, controllable light switch, constantly flipping between go and no-go. And why is that such a big deal? Because that ability to switch on and off billions of times a second is the magic behind the transistor. It's the building block of every single microchip. That means it's the foundation of every computer, every server, and yeah, probably the very smartphone or device you're watching this on right now. So in the end, it all comes back to that partnership. The source material says it perfectly. Without insulators, every wire would be a potential hazard. Without conductors, there would be no path for current to flow at all. You absolutely need both to make our modern world work. We've gotten pretty good at mastering conductors and insulators, but scientists are always pushing the boundaries. And it leaves you with this final kind of mind-bending question. What if, what if we could design a material that was a perfect conductor? A material with absolutely zero resistance, not in some super cold lab, but right here at room temperature. Can you even imagine the impact that would have on, well, on everything? Energy, technology, it would be unbelievable.